The Pharmacists Council of Nigeria is a federal government parastatal established by Act 91 of 1992. The agency is charged with the responsibility for regulating and controlling pharmacy education, practice, and training in all aspects and ramifications throughout the federation. When pharmacist Mohammed Elijah assumed duty as the Registrar of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria on June 12, 2014, he had a clear picture of what he wanted to do with his four-point agenda as follows: to reposition the registry for effective service delivery, to institutionalize good pharmacy practice in Nigeria, to transform career professionals to intellectual practitioners, and to promote new partnership for progressive initiative.
Here is a double Elijah who struggled through life, but who today is being celebrated. Here is an Elijah who became the registrar of the PCN in a competition of 35 equally brilliant people. Here is an Elijah who, when he was PCN registrar, when he came there, the pharmaceutical narrative was negative. But he came there, he saw there, and conquered there. The development in the PCN, as Mora would confirm, in the past few years has been unbelievable. The kind of thing that Napoleon describes as développement incroyable is a development that's unbelievable. But he did that because the grace of God was following him. Not because it's anything too different. But each time the favor of God arrives at your desk, if you're awake and ready, it makes you a different person. May the favor of each and every one of you find you this year.
Yeah. The name of Dr. Mohammed will certainly be written in gold as we write the history of pharmacy in Nigeria for what he has accomplished. This event of book presentation in his honor is one of such historic events.
Elijah Mohammed, a man who has demonstrated capacity to be able to serve. Service is so important. That position is about serving the people, ensuring good health through promoting the good practice of pharmacy on the desk that determines who practices pharmacy and what rules guides the practice. He does not play any ambiguity in that area. He's straightforward, he's tactful, full of wisdom, very humble, loyal, and indeed very political in his thinking. So he knows how to play the game right to the benefit of the people and the profession.
He's a very good man, he's a professional to the core, has been a good civil servant, and has added value in his days as the Registrar of Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria to the pharmacy profession and to Nigeria as a whole. So it's a beautiful day and a day that we are all here to honor him, and we are proud and glad that we are here.
You would have had attributes like it's a relationship builder, he is a bridge builder, he has moved the register of pharmacy technicians from merely 1,000 plus to over 10,000 as a result of the cooperation. As a bridge builder, today PCN stands as one MDA with perhaps the highest number of network when it comes to building bridges across multi-sectoral platforms. Is it the NGOs? Is it the development partners? Is it the implementing partners? That even led to creation of a department called Program Coordinating Department, as approved by the Office of the Head of Service. They call in somebody who is good in relationship. But most importantly, it's not about establishing relationship, it's being able to manage. And I call him a relationship manager. He established a relationship and is able to take it through by managing it for one reason or for a few reasons, because he established them based on sincerity, based on honesty, and based on commitment to that relationship. I also see him as a visionary person who is very strategic, somebody who tries as much as possible to ensure that the organization achieves its mandate through appropriate establishment of structures and teams that will enable the organization to deliver. Taking off from where he is coming from, I have a responsibility not only to sustain, but to make sure that we take to greater heights this foundation that he has laid.
A very jovial personality, very amiable, very friendly, very cooperative, always willing to assist. He's my very good friend, and I'm happy to be associated with him. And that's why we have all committed ourselves today, honestly, to give him a very grand event. I'm happy that things are moving quite well.
He just came at a time when we needed somebody to change things. And he came and he transformed PCN. When we say PCN, transforming PCN is like transforming the institution itself and then transforming pharmacy practice by what the institution was able to do, all over Nigeria. Okay, situations where you have issues with premises that are not registered. You can call them fake premises. People just come, set up. He is now making sure that everything is very orderly. Okay, for the practice of pharmacists, like you heard, you need an annual license to practice. And sometimes in the past, some of these licenses takes up to 8 months or 9 months. You are getting your license by July, August, okay, in a year that has started like January. But right now, these things are done seamlessly. You get your license, you practice, and they ensure that they visit the place of practice to see that people comply with the rules. These were not things that were being done before. And then most importantly, the legal aspect. There were many legal persons that took PCN to court. There were so many court cases against PCN. But it's coming, he set up the legal team and they were able to, do away with many of those cases, and most of them in favor of PCN. And right now, there's a lot of sanity, okay, in the practice of pharmacy. So he has really done quite a lot.
He's a man of destiny, and I think it's only natural to reward his steadfastness and commitment through this type of good quality attendance at a ceremony that is designed basically to celebrate him. It's one in which he's launching his memoirs, his biography and all of that. So I think it deserves it. It's the minimum we owe him, and I think it's perfectly in order that we are giving honor to whom it is due. One of the biggest lessons of the life of Mohammed is that people should learn to stick to their focus, their goals, their targets in life. There's always a need to potentiate your potentials, and you can see that from a most humble background as a hawker of all sorts of commodities, he's been able to get to the very apogee of his profession, and he's distinguished himself. It's not just that he got to the apex, he distinguished himself as a registrar. Working as a regulator in an environment like ours, that's in Nigeria, it's not a tea party. For obvious reasons, you do not have all the funds to back up your logistic plans. So many times you cannot walk the talk. But within human limits, I think N.A.E Mohammed has done very well.
The double prophet is really a bridge builder. In order to bring the pharmacy profession to the next level. A lot of things have been automated, like our registration have been made a lot easier during his tenure. So many things, have been done in a very transparent manner. So he's really proven that he's a transparent person, he's a man of truth, a man of proven integrity. And we'll pray, my prayer for him is that he's going to move from height to height, from greater glory to greater glory. That's my prayer for him. It's just the beginning for him. So he's going to be called in for a higher service by God's grace.
When I was president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, he worked with me as the national secretary. And I knew about his capacity and integrity, and that came to bear in this job that he did for the past 8 years. And so you can see why I mentioned that I'm one of the happiest person. I'm one we knew, we recommended, performed, and also going to hand over to another hard-working person. Well, my advice to the incoming is that he's already he has always been in the engine room, the incoming. It was like a promotional exam within the council. Yes, council advertised for a new registrar, but they got somebody within the registry. And for me, who also had built capacity to work and had worked with the outgoing registrar. So I have no doubt also that he is going to also add value to what his predecessor did. And we wish him very well in his career as a new registrar for our council.
Working with people, you have to understand the people, understand their weaknesses and strengths, leverage on their strengths so that you can move the system forward, and then help them out from their weaknesses so that they can now be able to key into whatever project you have. So you don't continuously or continually dwell in the weaknesses of people. If you do that, you will not be able to proceed. What you do, look at their strengths, leverage on it, and then their weaknesses, help them out of it, and then you will continue to move in success. Definitely PCN in the next few years will be very outstanding in its activities that has to do with regulation of education, training and practice of pharmacists and other pharmaceutical stakeholders in the country.
Having recorded a great level of success and even exceeded the set goal, pharmacist N.A.E Mohammed decided to bow out when the ovation is loudest with a book titled The Transformative Leader.
As at April last year, he was recognized among 25 other leaders in the country in the various sectors of Nigeria economy as one of the transformative leaders. And this preceded the writing of the book. So for me, multiple organizations recognize him as a true transformative leader is a confirmation that is truly transformative. And we look at the quality of the audience here today and the testimonies that they have shared concerning his humility, his approach to engaging various stakeholders, his ability to respond to the needs of various stakeholders, from workers to pharmacists to pharmacy technicians to fetal medicine dealers. And at times, the needs of these people are diverse, and they are not just diverse, but they are in conflict. And he's able to talk to each group and find a good base to be able to work with all of them. That for me makes him a very solid technocrat and a truly transformational leader. When you look at how he has succeeded first in building bridges between two warring groups in the then Lagos State PSN when he came in as the PSN chairman, when you saw the way he has transformed from one faith to the other, and so you understand both sides well. When you now see how he has succeeded in reconciling a regulatory body to work with those who are being regulated in such a very positive way that those of us who are being regulated desire to work with him, which is, it wasn't working like a policeman who is looking for you to make a mistake and then he will arrest you. Rather, it prepares you to understand this should be the direction where the profession should be going. You therefore prefer a self-regulation, a self-compliance with the necessary rules and ethics of the profession. He has succeeded very well in that. So that ability to work with diverse people requires skill. It requires a mindset, positive mindset. And I think he has all this rolled into one. And that is what has helped him in being referred to as a bridge builder. Not just by members of pharmacy profession, in Pharmacist Council, like the chairman said, not just by PSN Lagos State people, but also by other people who have worked with him under diverse conditions.
He has done taken a lot of steps to transform the regulation of pharmacy practice. And so with all that he did, I felt it was okay and it was important to document that for posterity. Now, as of today, like I mentioned, the next step for the pharmaceutical industry is to get into API production. Other nations, as I said, treat local drug production as being strategic to economic security. All the key nations, India, China, Israel, well, the Western world. Our nation also should get to that point, which is why I made a call that the time has come for our nation to have a specific fund dedicated to API production. We are seeing EMZO and FITS in doing that, but then we have to have a proper, properly structured, framework and a system for that will fund production of APIs. When people read it, they will understand the regulation of drugs, pharmacy practice in Nigeria. That's one. Two, they will get to know that going forward, we will no longer have pharmacists that have just the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Pharmacy degree. They would not have the Doctor of Pharmacy degree, which, focuses on patient care more. What we have now is focused mainly on drug production. But the best global practice today is on patient care, whereby pharmacists will talk with, sit with patients the same way doctors consult patients and sit with them and find out whether the diagnosis is working, whether the prescription is working. But now with doctors of pharmacy sitting, they would also have a closer interaction with patients, and that will reflect in how drugs are managed.
Honestly, each and every one of us will learn a lot of lessons, leadership experiences after going through that book. So I wish you have the time, take your time, go through the book, and I think you'll come out more better after reading his book. I wish him God's grace, abundant grace, and more favors, good heads, because what lies ahead is far greater than what we are seeing today.
I've been under his wing for a pretty long time. If you check page 48 of the book, or thereabout, I did say one or two things about him. More like taking a step. Every time I take a step, it's after him, because it's directly my senior. So wherever he put his legs, I choose to follow him on that path. So all the things they said about him this afternoon were not surprising to me, because it was actually a reflection of who he is.
Pharmacist Mohammed Elijah got his Bachelor in Pharmacy degree in 1984 from the prestigious Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Benin, Edo State, Nigeria. In 1997, he had his MBA from Ambrose Ali University, now Edo State University, Epoma, and a Master's of Science in Health Management from the University of Lagos in 2008. In the year 2020, pharmacist Elijah Mohammed backed his PhD in Public Health Policy, Walden University, Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Currently, he is a postdoctoral student at Atlanta International University, Honolulu, USA, with special interest in policy development, implementation, and leadership in healthcare. He is happily married and blessed with children.
I wish him more opportunities to make a difference, as he has made a difference in his capacity at the moment as the Registrar of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. Everything you heard his elders in his profession, his colleagues, everything they've said about him is true. The only thing I will have to add is that he's a man that knew why he was created early enough in life. He had a vision, and he made up his mind to fulfill God's purpose for his life.
He has set the country in different capacity with a record of excellence.